Hey, what's happening YouTube? It's Richard, founder of Short Term Rental University and Airbnb Superhost, and today I have the privilege of introducing you to a piece of film and content that I'm really excited about, but in order for you to maximize the viewing pleasure, I need to introduce it. You see, Erica and I travel all over the world, and we constantly, just through good fortune, right? I believe that life happens for me, get into these positions that some may call lucky or good fortune, and I'm very grateful for all of it. But I had the pleasure of meeting an entrepreneur when I was just at Harney & Sons, a world-class tea purveyor. The founder's son entered the premise while I was there, filming on my GoPro, and he offered to take us on a tour. So it may not seem directly relevant to your short-term rental business or to real estate investing, but I think there's so much to learn from really successful entrepreneurs in related, unrelated, in any sort of business. And so I want you to watch this carefully and just see what catches your eyes. There's a lot of commonality between what he was doing and what my father did in an earlier entrepreneurial venture. And then the question becomes, what can we learn? How do we learn from other entrepreneurs, and how do we apply that to our current business to get us to the next level and grow ourselves? And at the very end of the video, you'll watch as Mr. Harney takes us into his new experiment. They're experimenting and growing into hemp and having hemp in their teas and so on, and they're one of the only people in all of New York State to have that exclusive access. And so this is my point. I had no idea they were doing hemp. I had no idea where he was taking the business, but through dialogue, through relationship, through asking the right questions, we've developed this friendship now. He's invited me over for dinner with he and his lovely wife, and when I'm back for Parents Weekend, Erica and I are going to do that. So you never know where life's going to take you. You have to have an open mind and be willing to accept new things and try different things and just experiment. So please, it's a little bit longer. It's not professionally shot. I'm using my GoPro. It's still high quality. There's some portions of it where maybe the camera angle's not right. Just excuse all that and focus on the message, because I think you will grow and you will learn, and I'm really excited to bring more content about other entrepreneurs and other success stories so that we can start to model the masters and become successful, thriving hosts and entrepreneurs. And remember, I teach entrepreneurs to become hosts and hosts to become entrepreneurs, and this new series is a little bit of both. So what have you asked for, Erica?
So I've asked for the matcha. Unchumonta.
It's called Unjunomoto.
Unjunomoto.
Yes, it is the thickest grade of matcha we have. So usually when it comes to like matcha and like degrees of thickness, it's going to be like how decadent it is, how much it coats the mouth, the flavor that'll come out of it, and like how much it'll like foam at the top. So usually we have like these little like perfect little cups of matcha spoons.
Okay.
Because we also have the bamboo ones, but it's really hard to explain how much to use with the bamboo one because
Sure.
it's like not actually a level instrument. So I usually just fill it up all the way and then like scrape off the top so it's like an even layer.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna put like the smallest splash of water in here first, using 175-degree water because green teas can't handle more than that.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna use this whisk and kind of like create like a matcha powder, like kind of like a paste almost. And I'm just gonna make sure that there's no clumps in it whatsoever because you don't want to drink like a clump of random green tea. Like that'll just be like unhappy.
Right.
I'm just gonna add another little splash just to kind of like loosen it up a little bit. As you can see, it looks very thick and concentrated, kind of like a paste almost. Thank you. No problem. Have a nice day. And then I'm gonna add in the rest of the water. And again, because I'm Japanese, I don't remember the measurements. I just kind of like do it by my eye. And with this cup, I kind of fill it up to the white line inside of there.
Okay. That is a great cup, by the way.
I love this cup. We have a lot of matcha cups. Not everyone uses this cup for making matcha. I just like it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We all like, everyone back here will make matcha differently. Almost every single one of us.
And what are the benefits of matcha? Like, I'm unaware. I know that there's a lot of, mystique and allure, and everyone feels good about
We
it.
have a hard time saying anything about health benefits or benefits in general because all of us would have to be medically trained in some kind
Sure.
of way to accurately give you any kind of advice in that kind of realm or any information in general. And I would feel awful if I said something and then found out that it was
Right.
wrong. So we don't really follow like health benefits. It's just we drink it, and if whatever
We
good
think
stuff
it
comes
tastes
out
good.
of it, it's
Right.
good. So if it's the positive, there's a positive, then.
But is it a
cool.
green tea?
It is definitely
Okay.
a green tea. So matcha is actually a form of tencha, which is a Japanese green tea that has been powderized and ground up into this fine powder. And because of that, it actually has a little bit more caffeine than regular tea because you're actually ingesting the plant fibers. It's still not going to be equal to a cup of coffee caffeinated. It's going to be like probably like 3 to 4 cups before you equal to a cup of coffee caffeinated. But as you can see now, it's all like kind of foamy and stuff.
Yeah.
But green tea people drink for heart. Is that correct? Heart health?
Some people have done their research and have found out that like green tea can help with heart problems. Again, it's really hard for me to say because we
Right.
don't follow that kind of stuff. Some people use green tea for like antioxidant building or for like immune system building or stuff like that. But I don't know. I just have what I hear.
Is that too hot for her to try? Or?
It shouldn't be because it was made with a lot cooler water than black tea would be made with.
Do you feel like you're in China with like some instrumental Chinese?
How do you like that? Is it?
It's really, really good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. All right. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about your father and your
My
involvement.
father was running the White Hart Inn where you're staying, and he had there was an old Englishman that was up here, Stanley Mason, and Stanley had done tea over in England and had come to the States. In fact, he was the third generation tea person. And so my father started learning from Stanley, and then after that, he bought the business with a friend of his in 1970. And then they had a little bit of a falling out, so in 1983 he started Harney and Sons. And at that time he had no sons in the business, but I joined him in '88.
Amazing.
So that's how it started with my father and my mother. My mother, they had been running the White Hart Inn, and then the gentleman sold it, so they had at age 53 and she was 52, had to figure out how to make it to a little further down the road. So he started the tea, and she started Elise Harney Real Estate, which is across from the White Hart where we
Right.
stay.
Sure.
By the way, my mother and my sister run the Elise Harney Real Estate.
We're about to learn a lot about tea and your
All right.
involvement and what you do. And
Excellent.
really the point of this is just about how taking a little risk in something that isn't necessarily like a
lot of
well
this,
formed.
actually.
Yeah, well,
My
please
father.
tell us.
Yeah, my father. I mean, they had no money, and he was 53, and she was 52. So they had to find out something to do. So they stumbled upon the tea business and real estate, and the real estate funded the tea business back in the early days.
And is that reversed now?
No, we don't want to say it's reversed. We
They're
do.
equally important.
Yes.
But this is a big business. This
It
is
has
now a
become-
global business.
It is on all 7 continents, consumed on all 7 continents.
And in royal palaces and
Could be.
Right.
My father used to say that.
Right.
My father used to say that. Yeah.
amazing. Well, show us.
Okay.
Tell us whatever.
Well, if we want to go to the other place, or do you want to stay here? Have you been here?
No, we've walked around here, but I haven't been to the other place.
Okay, we can go there. It's just
Great.
about a mile down the road. Great.
So this building, how long have you had this building?
We've had it since 2003, I think. Yeah, 2003 or so. So that's about 16 years. We used to have a place, rent a place up there. We had, we started it by the White Hart and across the street there where my mom has their office. And we kept outgrowing, and this place had been built by somebody else, and it had a for sale sign out there, after 2001 and stuff like that. And somebody said, "Oh, you should buy it." And we go like, "What would we do with something this large?" And now it's full to the gills.
So what do you do in here exactly?
Well, we receive in tea, and then we make the tea.
So this is like
Yeah.
fully operating, not just marketing. This is like your factory.
Right.
Amazing.
So this was, we have a tea shop, we said on Broome Street. And so the gent that does the store windows, he did this out of tea bags. So
It's
kind of
so
fun.
cool. It's amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well done.
So how big is this?
This is about 90,000 square feet. Sorry, the other one's 70,000 square feet.
Wow.
So this is tea and other things. This happens to be chamomile pollen, so like if you wanted a caffeine-free chamomile tea bag would come off of here. Organic Darjeeling, which is fair trade.
From Hamburg.
Well, it's actually from India, but
Okay.
through Hamburg, you're right. Hamburger tea handle, so that's where the word hamburger comes from. So,
Amazing.
So is this temperature controlled and climate controlled?
No,
and...
we do have run AC every once in a while, but more that certain machines don't like too much moisture, so we have to pay attention to them. But here, you know, we have lots of teas from all over the world, and then they get blended over here.
And so how long does tea stay here? I mean, it's got a shelf life.
Well,
And
we try to get rid of it within a year, so we try to buy about a year's supply, just like, as you know, right now, you mean, the corn's at a peak. You know, a month ago it wasn't from here, and a month from now there won't be any corn here.
Right.
So we buy it at the right time. Here's where we blend tea, and they did this Serengeti tea. My son Emmerich worked with the Discovery Channel. It's something to do with Serengeti, the lions, and they're having a little show. So we were doing some more tea of that. You said you liked hot cinnamon, so we'll show you the hot cinnamon.
yeah, it's delicious.
This is where we blend the hot cinnamon. And you can smell it. I don't think you can see it. but
Oh
you can smell
wow,
it.
it smells great. So just
Yeah.
this machine,
Well, because the
It's-
cinnamon flavor is so strong, we couldn't put anything else in there.
right?
So, yeah.
And so you make everything here. How many people do you employ?
Well, we have over 200 employees, but you know, some are salespeople. So, but in this building, there's 120, 130, something like that.
Amazing. And so do you have scientists, like taste scientists on?
Oh, that's what my job is.
That's what you do.
Yeah, and myself and another lady, not another, a lady, since I'm not a lady. She's a taster. My tea tasting buddy Elvira.
Amazing. And so you travel the world.
We travel to
Sourcing?
certain parts of the world. Yes, that's true.
How often do you travel?
Well, I mean, the tea buying is a northern hemisphere spring crop, so that's when you're over there. So we go to India and China and things like that in the spring.
How cool. Your father,
John, yeah.
how distant is this from what he envisioned 30 years ago?
Well, I don't know. He probably didn't envision anything like this.
Right?
Right. We still use the word mail order, by the way. This section down here, where it starts, is the mail order. You know, we don't get anything in the mail that much. We get about maybe one order a week in the mail, but we still call it mail order
But
in
that's-
honor of your father.
But that must be a large business, right, for you?
Oh, it is a very, yes.
All retail comes through the
Yeah,
mail at this point.
20%, yeah.
And does it come directly to you or through like Amazon or
Oh, we do both Amazon, but the 20% that I was referring to is our own website.
not yet? Direct.
Yes,
Which is
we
great.
still call mail order.
Right.
This is one of our second most popular.
Paris? I love Paris as well.
This is where we taste our teas. I spend a lot of time up here getting various teas. I'm not sure what that is. Actually, I know that. That's some hemp that we're practicing on. But here's like Chinese oolongs here. So we have all sorts of. This is a top Tea Kuan Yen. I got a good taste. Hello. This is one of the best Tea Kuan Yens here. Erica, if you could smell that. So it should have a buttery smell to it.
Wow.
Sure.
And so these must be blended, right, to keep the consistency year in
No,
and year
no,
out,
no.
or
And everyone, it's sort of like a different scotch here. We'll get you two there. You get the peach out of that? So this is Feng Long Dankan, they called it. So this is a slightly oxidized tea, so it's a little bit brown. And it's big leaves and it's ancient trees. A lot of times it's like 400, 300-year-old trees.
Wow.
That they use over there, and we love the peach flavor that they get from that. So I said I drink a lot of Assams, but this is oolongs are a good flavor. Taiwan does great oolongs too. Dongding, frozen peak.
And so how competitive is the upscale tea market, and how much do you worry about competitors?
Well, we all like to win.
Right.
But there's room for most people. I don't step on too many toes, and too many people don't step on my toes. So when we've grown the business from nothing into something, you know.
More
so,
than something. Something great.
something not bad.
Right.
So it's-
Something great. You should be very proud.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Really, this is amazing.
So yeah, no, we do well, and there's a lot of other people that are also doing well. So that's good news.
So is this the way it arrives here?
It used to arrive like that.
Oh, so this is-
So this is not. So if you look at these, they're a little on the ancient side. 2015. 17.
Well, now you're making me really feel old. If 2015 is ancient,
Well, you are.
whoa, we got a little accident there.
So I wrote a book about tea, and then this was the original. This was the original outline, which was rejected. But I liked it, so I hung it up on the wall.
And then those regions up there, and that's a map of China.
Right, map of China up there, and this was the way they used to do it in over there. They would. This was one of the original pictures. It's from Harvard Business School's library. So some gent was over there and took one of the original pictures of that. And they still make tea like this in China. Not exactly this way, but very similar to that. This was where they were breaking up the leaves to start the oxidation process. So, this was things that we were trying to embody in the tea book I wrote in 2008. Well, let me show you out to the hemp fields if you got a minute.
Oh yeah, totally. This is probably an area of future growth, right?
It's been very good for us so far. I don't know if hemp farming, we're not really farmers, but even the real farmers are, they produce a lot of crop. If you go up the next town from here, there has to be something like almost 500,000 plants in growing.
Wow, look at this, Erica.
I don't know if you've seen one of these things before.
No, but so now this is not cannabis, right? There's no flowering THC or
Well, that's
anything?
what the sign says right there, so it's got to be true.
Okay, well there you go.
We do have to send it to be tested by the state of New York. And they'll be here in a little bit to taste it. But it's funny because they're all they came from the same seed bag as the guy says, yet they're so radically different from each other. But you can see here where they're creating the bud. This is not a bad one to stumble upon.
How old is this, do you think? Like, is this
old
weeks,
is-
months, this plant?
Oh, well, I planted it, so I know how old it is.
Okay.
So it was put in, we put it in the ground on July 8th. So it was a little baby plant like this big at that time.
Wow.
And then they go a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger. The really huge hemp plants are the seed plants. Those get 10 feet tall or something.
Is that one over there that's standing taller? Is that?
Well, that's not it, but it has something funny going on. We can go look at it and figure it out for you.
And so, what will you do with these plants? They'll get.
Well, there is the typical thing to do with them is to chop them off, hang them upside down, and then take all the green material off and sell that. The problem is that for a lot of, there's an oversupply of that. There will be an oversupply of that. So then they would make that into CBD oil.
But that doesn't affect you because you're the end user, right?
We're
So you're
the end user,
grower.
so you're a very smart man. So the idea is that we're going to try to come up with a different way of using them. So we were thinking maybe putting like this top part into the bud into a tea itself, so that we don't have to go into that commodity market
Right.
of fighting over pennies for it. Because I mean that's the problem with a lot of these farmers is that they went in and got in this business because they were having a problem with dairy or something like
Right.
that. And then if they were hoping to make a ton of money with this, and if they don't, it's a problem.
Well, this is the same problem that we teach on our YouTube channel, right? If you're just going into the commodity business and selling 4 plain vanilla white walls, and there's no differentiation, there's no passion, there's no hobby, there's no aesthetic, there's no differentiation, then the only thing you can compete on is price, and that's a
Right.
race straight down. Unless you're IKEA.
Where are they going to race? Where are they
right?
racing to?
Yeah, straight
To the bottom.
To the bottom, right?
Yeah.
To zero.
So this one here you wanted to ask about. So I'm not really an expert, of course, but you can see it's doing well. It's from the same seed bag, as they say, versus the one over here that right behind you, is also, it's a nice looking plant, but it's behind it a little bit. So another week or so, the buds should be popping up. We had a little bit of a problem here with the fungus. A little athlete's foot or something. I'm not sure exactly. So we had to get some tinctin there or whatever that stuff is.
So this is 4 acres we're looking
There's
at?
4 acres all the way down there, yeah.
And
Alex
this,
was doing some drone shots of it.
amazing. And this will then make its way into maybe hot tea and cold
Yeah.
beverage?
Well, more hot tea because you have to. The thing with it's an oil, right? CBD oil. So oil doesn't mix with water.
Right.
So with the stuff that you drank earlier, that was an emulsification. So we're not really good at emulsification here. We might be
Yet.
one day. That's right. But that's another whole skill set, and it's in the busy season, so we might not have time for that skill set to develop.
Do you have any questions for me or Erica or?
I don't know. What do you do?
So I'm a educator on YouTube in and around short-term rentals and how to differentiate yourself and have what I call a future-proof framework or eye towards the future, which is consistent with a lot of the things that you're doing, which is little experiments, always trying to be ahead, differentiate yourself. I asked you about the competition. Even though there's more competition in the Airbnb world today than ever before, I also think there's more opportunity than ever before because everyone's doing it the wrong way.
What way is the right? What's the right way?
Well, again, it's just to inject a little
We're
bit
buying a house. That's why I wanted to.
Oh, well, first you have to pick the correct location.
I didn't do that.
Well, you have to pick the correct location, and then you have to infuse it with your personality and something about you. So I think you'll
My
be...
son's doing that down in Raleigh, actually.
Well, that could be a great area.
He's got about, well, the problem they had down there is they started to outlaw Airbnb.
Right.
So it's causing a problem a little bit. So they're having to come up with a plan B.
So,
But he's bought a couple houses. He's down in Raleigh now. So.
So the first thing that I teach is to make sure that it's legal.
Well, it was legal.
No, well, it probably just wasn't regulated.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference between not being regulated and being regulated and legal.
Right.
Right. And so if you pick a place that's legal and it's taxed and the tax dollars are benefiting the school and the community and so on, then it's sustainable and repeatable. And then I like to find places that have draw, that people are already coming. So, you know, whether it's an amusement park or a school or a boarding school or a college or convention center, just people that are coming, and then you take something that has personal meaning and value and differentiate it. So we have people that have, they're in the cannery area and say like Monterey, so they have that theme, or I'm sure your place, if you do this, will have a lot of tea significance and antiques and stuff like that, right? And
I'm not sure I'm going to do an Airbnb. I don't know. I was going to rent it to one of our employees. So
well.
I don't have to worry about the Airbnb.
But we should talk about Airbnb.
I know.
Because there's a ton of opportunity, and it's really, it's growing very quickly, and so it's disrupted the whole hotel space, and it's now a cottage industry.
I know, it's terrible.
Well, no, it can be great.
I'm an old hotelier, so that's why it's terrible.
Well, then you should be a
Scared.
new Airbnb-er.
I know. I don't care because I don't make any more money off of that. But I just want to throw that in.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that there's a way to do it responsibly and add value. And there's places that are absolutely beautiful that should be accessed by many that don't make sense for a hotel.
Sure.
Right? And then one of the biggest issues in hotels, if you will, is the cost of labor and seasonality. So you can't necessarily run a hotel in all these places that have seasonality, but you could run, say, a small bed and breakfast type thing or an individual house. And so it allows people to share a resource that you wouldn't otherwise have access to.
Absolutely.
And so in that regard, it's great.
Absolutely. No, there's Airbnb around here and everything, so that's great.
And then there's the White Hart Inn, which
there's
is even
the
better.
White Hart Inn. I like hotels once in a while because they just take your bags upstairs. You don't have to actually talk to somebody, right?
Well, Erica helps me with that.
She's the better side.
Right.
She works through these rough spots with you.
Well, Michael, I have to thank you so much for your time and hosting us and showing us around. It's absolutely tremendous.
Great.
Please give your best to your brother and your father and your family and your sons and everyone that's in this. And I hope this goes on for generations.
Thank you.
I think you've got something fabulous you should be incredibly proud of.
Thank you. And I just know my father's up in heaven.
Oh, well then send him via direct communication our best wishes.
Let's wave to him.
No, but seriously, you know, as is mine, but the risks that they all took and the challenges that they overcame.
I just didn't want you to
to
expect to see him the next time you come here.
No, but you know what? I mean, if you think about the business that we conduct today with the internet and with the economies of scale and the way that we can do things, right? Like the challenges that your father faced and my father faced, it's so much easier to do it now. Now we have more competition perhaps, but it's we live in the best era, I believe, to be entrepreneurs.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you believe that.
You find it very challenging still?
No, it's
every day?
No, it's fun. It's great. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Michael,
thank you
for everything. I really appreciate your time. Erica, thank you.
My pleasure. It was fun.